The lepers were desocialized, and they thought of being incapable of doing anything else positive. And their own group of people, the lepers were oppressed, and they were ostracized in the community. How in the world can you keep going when the world is against you? I don't know about you, but I'm looking at some folk in here. You can relate to the lepers. You've been treated like nobody. You've been treated down and ostracized just because you ain't a part of the clique, and just because you ain't a part of the crew, and just because you dance a little different, you shout a little different, you feel like you ain't a part of the crew. But the good news is this, that the lepers, despite their resistance, didn't stop their destiny. I'm here to tell somebody today, you might be doing something that everybody else might not like. You might have a skin condition. You might have an issue. But the good news is that God is going to use you to make a change in the lives of a whole generation. I'm talking to the younger day. They didn't keep them to their destination. They did not let what you heard stop them from where they're going. And I'm here to tell some sisters, you got to get going. You don't let nobody talk about you just because you don't have a husband and you may have a child out of where the girl you keep moving. And to some of you opportunities, brother, just because you may have been locked up, brother, just because you may have a parent record, you keep on going. Because God is going to use you. In his book called The Courage to Be, he talks about self-affirmation and having an in spite of mentality. That is, in spite of what it is you're going through, that does not prevent you from getting to your destination. Despite the leper's visible flaws, despite the leper's mental scars, the Lord used the least likely to bring a change. Oh, I just said something right here. Y'all missed the shot. I said the Lord used the least likely to bring a change. He didn't use the upper echelon. He used the ones who were in the cave. But he used the folk who knew how to gather the suits and get together and go in the cave. God has always used the undervalued and the disinherited and the least likely to accomplish a divine mission. How do you know that, preacher? Where do you read it? Well, the Bible speaks for itself. It was Moses who had a stuttering problem, and Moses who killed the man. But God used Moses to lead the people into freedom. I tell you, God used the least likely to make a difference. If that ain't the one, let me give you another one. David, he committed adultery. David was one of the sacrifices. He wasn't out there on the battlefield, but God used David to unify Jerusalem and Judah. I tell you, God uses the least likely to make a difference. Okay, that ain't your cup of tea. I mean, talk to the sisters. Rahab was a prostitute. I feel my help. They was Rahab, and she spoke and used her negotiation skills, and came in and changed the whole trajectory of the whole family. Can I tell you today that God is going to use the least likely? Am I in the book today? Well, let me go ahead and finish it. Since I'm in the Old Testament, let me go ahead to the New Testament. There was a little boy with a two-piece fish set and a two-piece net. And God used the little boy and a two-piece fish set and 25,000. I'm going to tell you today that you asked to see it. And I'm almost through this thing. Here's a few things that you can learn from the least likely. And when you now know it comes. Well, it's like the text is that the leper decided to get up and take a risk. This is the text. They were at the entrance of the gate, and they said to one another, why sit here and die? The first thing you need to know is that when you're now the lepers got up and they got together. Okay, we can now overcome. You get up and you get together with the folk. Young adult ministry, Ray or whatever you want to call yourself for next generation. You got to use it. Stop all the schisms and the isms and separation. Don't start talking about unity. Come on, say it with me. Get up. Not only when the night when you're not overcome, you got to get up, get together, and you got to go in. The text says that the lepers did not have time to wait, so the lepers decided to arise and cry. And cry was the time of the day when the sun is below the horizon, casting a different light. It is the time when the cool breeze would blow. It was the time when the darkness would hide the storms, and it would hide their movement. But when they got to the place, the Bible declares it was to their surprise that no one was in the camp. The Lord had made a way for the men to enter into the city. The lepers walked in with no worries. Why did they walk in with no worries? Because the Lord created a noise for the lepers